What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your host MB and Klew. And you see, y'all, they back. Coach Morton in the building. Them games baby. Live in effect. And listen here, MB. We need to right off the bat talk about this transfer portal, MB, because they eating from the portal. We eating from the portal. Cincinnati coach about to get fired by the portal. This portal something serious, MB.
Yeah.
He had 6 say deuces. MB.
Yeah.
What is that the equivalent to on a football team? 15 guys, 20 guys go?
No, it's more than that. Because you're talking about it's 13 scholarship guys and you got 6, that's half. So that's what, 85 scholarships. So what, it's 42?
40 walk out the locker room. I guarantee you they ain't putting him on leave. Or if they put him on leave, he leaving for good. 40 guys walk.
Hey.
Coach, right off
but
the bat.
Hey, don't forget, like his lawyer say, hey, make sure you pay me now. Make sure you pay me if you're gonna cut him. Make sure you get paid now.
Hey, look here. They ain't gonna pay him no attention. Losing. Hey, he lost. Hey, they gonna deduct all that money that just walked out the door. So, Coach, we back to a conversation we just finished.
Yeah.
We just finished that.
Yeah.
And time we finished the conversation, Coach, 6, like MB just straightened me, half of the people gone. Half of your locker room, Coach, get up and walk out. What do you do?
Like, that's a very sensitive subject up there at Cincinnati. Obviously, the transfer portal has changed the game. It's changed the game tremendously. The thing that's it's interesting we're talking. I'm sitting here looking at it as I'm talking to you guys.
Let me get on.
Yeah, I'm in the office, so I'm sitting here just watching. I'm gonna tell you a crazy story about the transfer portal. This is how crazy it is. I left to go to lunch at 12 o'clock. Went to lunch at Chick-fil-A. Came back at 12:45, and there was 20 more kids in the portal from the time I left to coming back to the office. I mean, we as coaches are sitting by our desk all day and just monitoring it, and these kids just kind of constantly leaving, put their name in there. But what happened in Cincinnati is just a very unique situation in terms of the whole team leaving at once. That's a whole different story. I mean, there's been kids that have left, but half the team leaving at once is pretty weird.
Wow.
Right. And when I saw it, I said, man, this put a new definition on one and done. Because I mean, that's crazy. It's like 4 to 6 was freshmen, But the reason why I saw it, I was like, man, this is crazy, man. It just changed the landscape because I think the rule right now, like Jake mentioned before, because we was talking about it, but I think the rule right now, Jake, is not a permanent rule, right? In the sense of like you don't have to sit out. Like before, like they just doing that temporary because of the COVID, or are they making that permanent now moving forward?
Well, I do know. There's 2 parts to it, Mike. It's 2 parts to it. So, if a kid is there's something that's going to go into play by the NCAA for a kid to transfer just once, a one-time transfer. So, for example, these 6 kids that are leaving Cincinnati, this has been their only university. They are probably going to be able to play somewhere else right away. But I think there's going to be something that goes in. It's obviously you got the COVID waiver that's out there,
right,
where kids can just leave and be eligible right away. But the one-time
transfer, and that's what the kids are taking. A lot of kids. That's why the transfer portal is so hot, right? Because they're taking advantage of the COVID transfer.
They're taking advantage as well as that one-time transfer. But what's going to happen here? Because the NCAA is going to have to step in and do something about it. It's out of control right now.
Right.
For example, if a kid transfers more than once, they're going to have to make them sit out. They're giving that one. What's being proposed is the one time. So if you transfer one, you have one time to transfer. You can play immediately. But kids are transferring 3 and 4 times.
Right.
And that's where they're going to put it into it. Where
all right. Now I know that. I mean, let's face it. You coming from the coach's standpoint, the university standpoint. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to restrict free agency?
Well, because you want to restrict it because there's something called APR that universities have to deal with. So when these kids
that's true too.
You get affected by it. You know
that's true too.
APR was put in years ago to stop coaches from running kids off. But it's actually flipped now. Now kids have the ability just to leave whatever they want to leave, and it will affect your APR. And if your APR gets screwed up, you can go on probation, you can lose, postseason, you get postseason bans, and all types of financial issues come with that. So it's a double-edged sword with this thing now with kids leaving.
So yeah, I can't, especially with a group of kids that ain't making nothing, coach. I'm sorry, they need some kind of advantage, and I'm for it. Hey, listen, do right by them, or I'm gone next year, baby.
I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong in that. You need to do right by your players, and obviously, it is a free agency type market where kids just leave and go whenever they want to go. But you got to understand, there's something in place for schools to have retention with these players. So if you're not retaining them, they keep leaving. You could be affected by that in terms of losing opportunities to play in the NCAA tournament, the NIT, your postseason. You can get hit with bans.
Well, let me say this here, Lou. One thing I don't like, right, about it, I think, like you said, kids need to have the right. But right now, that at least in NFL or free agents period, it's a certain time frame. This thing, just imagine if this happened before the season start, and kids go like, okay, I'm going to transfer portal right now. Like I'm gonna get, and you have half your. I mean, what are you gonna do at the timing of it to replace those players?
Well, Mike, you raised a great point. One of the best players in the tournament, the kid from UCLA, Juzang, that's
right.
He did that. He left. He went to Kentucky. He left in September. I mean,
right.
they started school like 2 weeks into school. He just transferred. He went to Portal and went back to UCLA. I mean, no, he did. This is true. He did. I mean,
right.
he started at Kentucky. He was there all summer. School started. He was there for a week or so. Then he left. Then he put his name in the transfer portal and went back to UCLA.
Yeah, and I'm saying, how about this happen at the start of the season? I mean, then now you can't replace them, and now you got half your team going.
Yep.
And then you still, and then even though they can't, it's just crazy. I mean, just at least with free agency, you got a certain time period. But the fact is that this thing is it's crazy, man. Because we was just talking about it. I was like, wow. When I saw it, I was like, wow. This is half this dude roster want to transfer. Right, wrong, and difference. I don't know the details, but just the time, just it to me, it's like this is a game changer. And then you could transfer without penalty as of now because of the COVID. Right. I was like, man, this thing needs some monitoring. Something needs to happen. It can't be this. It can't be this free flow. It's like Dade County, baby.
Yep. Okay, Lou, I know you say the kids should have the right. It's like free agency, and these players have the right. Look, I agree. They should have the right to leave. They're not comfortable. They feel like they're not playing. I'm all for that. However, it's gotten out of control. It really has. I mean, the case of Cincinnati is a perfect. I mean, you have half your team leaving.
Can you clean something up though for me?
What's that?
The Juzang situation, was that due to COVID that he was able to do that, or
it had nothing? I mean, I don't know if it had anything to do with COVID, but all I know.
No. Can you, in a normal year, can you, stay all summer and then leave and go play for another team?
Yes, yeah. Right now, the way it is right now, yeah, that's what Mike was saying. The way it is right now, there has to be some type of monitoring that goes on because kids can leave whenever they want. Mike made the best point. What if this happened in September, where you start school and 6 kids leave in September? You're not gonna have a team.
But Jake, I think if I'm hearing Kerry Lou right, on a normal situation, take out COVID. Say if this was pre-COVID, right, and the kid wants to transfer regardless of the timing, could he automatically be eligible to play for that season? I know you're saying they're coming up with the one
right now
transfer rule, but
right now COVID is what everyone's
pre all of that.
Okay,
but
in a new.
But also there's something in play right now with the NCAA with the one-time transfer where you can actually transfer one time and play immediately. So if that has not been stamped yet, COVID has kind of held that up because you don't need it right now because of COVID. Because kids are going to do it regardless. But once we get past COVID, that is what's on the docket to be put in play where these kids have the ability to transfer one time and be eligible immediately. So at the rate we were going before COVID,
I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
You there?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. It was breaking up on my end. I don't know if that's me or you.
I said right before COVID, that's the direction the NCAA was moving in, that these kids would have they will have the ability to transfer one time and be eligible immediately. Right before COVID. It was about to go down, but then COVID hit. And at the end of the day, they got what they want in terms of the players. They still were able to transfer whatever they want and play immediately. So COVID's actually protected them with that movement. But it's going to be in play, going forward. These kids will have the ability to transfer one time and be eligible immediately.
Well, Well, one of the things that MB, myself, and Pac Jam was discussing early on with the transfer portal, we was talking about it from a football standpoint, and Pac Jam and myself got on y'all in the universities. We went hard on coaches and universities about setting the table that the kids and an environment that the kids want to be a part of and want to stay and don't want to transfer. How much of that, obviously seeing this, big, huge situation in Cincinnati, and I'm sure all the coaches are making phone calls like, man, what we gonna do here if this start? Like, is it more so let's set up rules so they can't do it, or let's check ourselves and make sure that we got a place here that everybody wants to everybody's happy with and wants to be a part of.
All right, I'm gonna get to you from a basketball standpoint. Obviously, it's the same situation in football in terms of the numbers. So all right. First of all, it's a two-part question. The first part is what's going on at Cincinnati is driven by something specific why these kids left. I don't want to really get into all that. I don't know all the details behind it, but there's something specific behind what's driving all these kids to leave. It was something the coach. This is why the coach on administrative leave. There's something that happened that's driving that mass exodus at Cincinnati.
Okay.
To your second point about the transfer portal, about these kids and creating a certain environment, you recruit kids. You got to recruit them, and you sell them on the fact that, hey, you can come here, you're going to be a good player, you have a chance to play. And what happens, like almost every situation across the country, kids come in as freshmen, they realize, you know what, I'm not really ready. I'm not really ready to do this. It's going to take me more time than I thought it would to do this. So what they do, instead of like biting their teeth and gritting it out, they say, you know what, I'm just going to leave. I mean, that's what's driving this whole transfer. It's not the fact that think about it. Kids take visits to school. They visit the school. They get to know the coaches, and we recruit these kids for 2 and 3 years. They get to know them. They've been to the school on official visits, family. They like everything about they like. But when they come to actual school, it's time to compete. What they realize is that there's a guy that's sitting across from me who's just as good, if not better. I might not play as fast. Boom, I'm out. I'm transferring. And that's what's driving it. It's not the fact that kids don't like where they go to school. It's that a lot of these kids are going to schools and they're not getting what they thought they would get out of it from an athletic standpoint. They think the grass is green on the other side. That is, to me, that is what's driving this whole transfer. Kids jumping the transfer portal and jumping ship and jumping from school to school.
Well, Coach, Dan, I'm blaming from a football stance these little league coaches. And MB know exactly what I'm talking about because they run around stealing players around here. Like little league is more cutthroat than high school.
Yep.
So they go around stealing players.
Yep. And
then from a basketball standpoint, parents are jumping kids from AAU program to AAU program.
I mean, like, some of this stuff is just not making sense. Okay, it's not making sense. You have kids at like high level programs, SEC programs, ACC programs, Big East, high level programs. You have these kids who are playing, who are major contributors, scoring 10, 12, 30. I mean, really good players, and they're contributing. They're still leaving.
I was reading. I was going through the transfer portal this morning, an article talking about it, and it was saying the top 50 guys in the portal. MB, every last one of them balling where they at already. Balling.
I'm thinking 3 or 4 specifically. You
top
got
50.
I'm talking about 3 or 4 kids I can think of top of my head specifically. One kid that just left Rutgers, Montrez, not Harold, but first name is Montrez. And he's a kid from Maryland, great player, starting double-figure score at Rutgers, he leaves. The starting 2 guard, Noah Locke at the starting 2 guard at Florida. He's averaging 10, 12 points a game. Great, some of it's like, I'm like, what is going on? It's not making sense. Look at some of these guys at the biggest programs in the country playing in the biggest leagues, and they're like major performers and contributors, and they still jump in to see if grass is green on the other side of the fence.
Wow.
So it's just hard to figure out like what's driving all this. It's hard to figure out. It's hard to figure out.
I think it's I'm trying to find a guy because I was looking at this article. Like you say, I'm looking Duke, Duke guy, Carolina guy, Indiana.
North Carolina has not. up until this year, they had another one leave this year, the kid Kessler Walker, which
Right.
would be so Roy Williams in 19 years. Well, that Roy was the coach. I looked at this stat. 19 years, he's had 7 kids transfer out of there. All right.
Wow.
5 of those 7 had transferred in the last 2 years, the last 3 years. So before that, he's only had 2 kids transfer over the first 16, 17 years of his career. But now, even at Carolina and Duke, you can't keep them happy. And these are places kids would never transfer.
Right.
Never.
Yeah, I think Duke got like 3 guys that's leaving, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll never transfer from.
Hey, look, MB, to just definitely piggyback what Coach saying. This is the article I was reading. Look at the #1 player that's leaving in the transfer portal, Trey Mitchell out of UMass.
Yeah.
Coach,
Good player.
MB, he averaging 19, 7, and 2. Where you going?
I mean,
that ain't cutting it.
But behind Trey Mitchell, there's a huge story behind that young man.
Wow.
There is. I mean, there's a story behind him. He's a player. But there's a story behind him. There's one of his guardians. I mean, who I know very well. I mean, there's a story behind why he's leaving. But it's not making any sense.
But Coach, the second guy, Marcus Carr. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
MB 19. He had Minnesota, Big Ten. 19, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
It's
out of control.
#3 player, 12, 8, and almost 2 blocks a game.
What school is that?
This Georgetown.
Oh yeah, that's the one that is, he just committed to Maryland. That is the biggest mystery of all times. I want you to think about this one, guys. I think about what I'm about to tell you. This kid is 7 feet tall. He's a center. Right. He averaging 13 and 8. He's playing for the best center to ever play college basketball.
Right, period.
Who's up under him teaching him. And he's dominating and playing well, on track to be a pro, and he leaves.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just piggybacking, Coach, off of what you're saying, because I was just reading this article this morning, and I'm like, man, where these boys gonna go? What you gonna average 30? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you going to do what is what I was looking at.
The kid that left the kid that left Georgetown, he just committed to Maryland. I think today or the day before, he just committed to Maryland. The one you talking about, the #3 transfer who left Georgetown, right? The biggest mystery to me of all. The biggest mystery to me of all, because he's a center playing for one of the best centers in college basketball. The guy's a Hall of Fame pro player, a heck of a teacher. Heck of and he made a week before the kid left. He made a comment and said now this was a little crazy on his part, but Patrick Ewing said he will be the best center to ever play at Georgetown. That's how much better he's gotten in the progression he's taken. Now we all know how good Patrick Ewing was. Right.
Wow. And you talking about at Georgetown? You talking about Patrick Ewing? Joe. You talking about Dikembe Mutombo? You talking about they got 3 Hall of Fame centers?
Alonzo Mourning.
Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe. Yeah.
I mean, Stella used to hold it down.
There might be 10 guys that played at Georgetown that were great NBA players. He said he's going to be one of the best ones. And the kid leaves. I mean, you're in the best school in the country. That's like Mike, when you played football, man. You was a quarterback, you going to Miami.
Right.
I mean, if you was a quarterback, you going to quarterback you.
Exactly.
Well, that's center you. He's at center you and he leaves.
Right. But that's why I say, man, you can't continue with the same free fall, man. You got to have some type of restrictions in place. That's why I was asking how it was before COVID, just because I know before you didn't see this much transfer portal. It was all majority of graduate students that was transferring once you graduated, right? And that was more in line with NFL or in any type of free agency. You spend your 3-4 years, you become a free agent, then you can leave, But it's right here.
You got to understand what the free fall was what drove the free fall. So you raised a great point. 2 years ago, the transfer portal was a big thing, but it was with grad transfers.
Right.
Because what was unique about that? They could play right away. You can go to school, graduate, and play. So wherever you transfer to, you can play right away. The normal transfer would have to go and sit out. With COVID coming in, now the normal transfer can play right away, and it just took it to a whole
Exactly.
It's got of control.
Well, or you had to have some circumstance, because I remember when Justin Fields, right, he left Georgia and transferred to Ohio State. He had to do an appeal, right?
Yep, you're right.
And so you had to plead least, but you at least make it more challenging. You got to appeal. You may have circumstances help you win. at least make you work for it. Golly, it's like I said, it's like Miami-Dade County. Like before, you had to come up with the address, you had to come up with this. You know, now it's like free fall, man. You ain't got to come up with nothing.
It's a free fall.
Right. So then any type of thing, man, like I don't like how you looked at me. I'm transferring. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of what's going on right now.
I can't get my number. I want number 2 and or number 1 and whatever. That's crazy. You know? That's what I'm saying.
Get that boy that number 2, baby. You told him that to get him now. Give him his jersey.
Yeah, but I think it goes a little deep. It goes a little deeper than that.
I'm just saying some surface stuff. I mean, it's a lot of, like we had this talk before. It's a lot of different reasons. Some of it could be the coach fault. Some of it could be the player fault. You know, but like I said, man, it's got to be some stuff in place, man. This free fall is crazy.
This is sounding. I gotta side with Mike a little bit. Mm-hmm. This is really sounding generational, and what we're seeing even at a much lower level than this. Like this stuff is going on, like I say, when they 9, 10, 11 years old, this stuff is already going on. And that's what this is actually, hearing you talk about it makes me think of how Little League football is run right now. It's how these kids bounce around like this.
Well, I mean, whatever it is, I mean, you're right. What the reason is just crazy, though. It's just a lot, you know.
Yep. It's crazy. I mean, look, I do it every day, guys. Like I tell you, I'm looking at my computer screen and I have the transfer portal up. So it's one of these things that is a necessary evil because you got to stay on top of it. If you're trying to sign guys, you got to kind of be on top of who's leaving, where they're going,
right,
and who you can get. So it's a new wave of recruiting.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying I like it, but it's kind of what it is.
Hey, I will tell you this, Coach. It's hard for me to leave a place I'm already averaging 20. So just saying, it's gonna be tough to pull me away from them.
I mean, these kids, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. I mean, I can't explain it to you. I mean, I can't explain it to you.
Well, March Madness did it again, man. Excitement, last buzzer shots. What we had 6, 7 Cinderellas this year.
Been great year.
But guess what? The dust has settled and normalcy has returned. Number 1 Gonzaga facing number 2 Baylor. Coach, what are your thoughts in those games in the Final Four to get them here, and then obviously we'll talk about the ship.
The Final Four was amazing. You talked about the shot that Scruggs made for Gonzaga. I mean, just an unbelievable game. Leave the shot out the equation. It was a heck of like I said, a heavyweight bout. We talked about that last time. This was a heavyweight bout, and they both threw punches. They both took the punches. They both kept throwing punches, and it ended the way the game was played the whole game with an exciting play, a 45-foot bank shot to win it. My boy Scruggs, that was a heck of a shot. But it was a heck of a game. It was a heck of a game.
Hey Jake, and the thing about it is like it's like the predictions before those Final Four, it was the other way around. You thought that ZAG was just going to blow UCLA out, and then we thought Houston was going to be the game that we saw with the ZAG. They kind of traded places, you know.
Yep, exactly right. Everyone, I mean, everyone thought that Gonzaga would blow UCLA out, and a lot of people had Houston beaten Baylor. But we talked about this on our last show. Baylor has the best, assortment of guards in this tournament. And the one thing I will say about absolutely. One thing I say about this, they got it right. Because you do have the 2 best teams in the country playing for it,
right?
And it should be a heck of a battle tonight, because these are the 2 best teams. The 2 best teams made it, and a lot of times that don't happen. They get beaten, someone gets beaten down there, but these are definitely the 2 best teams in the country.
Tell me what I mean. I know heading into this tournament, I was like, the Zag's gonna win. But then when I saw them play UCLA, I was like, ooh, they got some kryptonite in their armor, man. What did you see and why? Why was UCLA able to dominate the way they was or perform the way they perform?
UCLA is a well-coached ball team. I mean, well-coached ball club. I mean, Nick Cronin is one of the best defensive coaches in our game. I mean, he's a heck of a defensive coach. He's a hard. They play hard. Now, with that being said, they play early in the season, and Gonzaga blew them out. But Nick Cronin has a lot of pride. He has really good players. The kid, Johnny Uzang, I mean, he stepped up big for them, who gave them that lift that they wasn't getting early in the season.
They had Campbell. They had like in that championship game. They had Campbell. Campbell stepped up the point guard. They had Riley, the center. I mean, they had a lot of guys. They had like four dudes in double digits. Man, they came ready to play. You know?
Gonzaga. UCLA is a very talented ball club, and they play hard, and they play with a purpose. You know, it was a great game plan. I mean, they slowed the game down. They're still in the 90s. They still scored 90 points, both teams. But you notice they would walk the ball. They had a great game plan. And Gonzaga is one of the fastest teams in the country. I mean, getting the ball up and down. They play ahead of the defense. I mean, Gonzaga is fast. They play fast. They want to play fast. But UCLA really slowed them down. As I say that, both teams scored 90 points. That tells you how fast because UCLA was intentionally trying to play slow, and both teams still scored 90 points. So that just tells you how potent of an offensive team Gonzaga is. Gonzaga is the real deal now. I mean, they're the real deal. I mean, it's just these are going to be two giants going at it tonight.
I got a question, Coach, and this is, kind of like everybody goes shake their head like, what? But this is what I thought about after the shot, Coach. Should that kid have tried to take a charge from 50 feet out?
No, you got to let it play out that night. You can't take a charge. You got to let it play out.
Is that a charge? If it does happen, because if you saw him, he was in position to do it, and he moved out the way, so he wouldn't touch him.
Well,
it was just a question I thought about. That's how my mind worked during the game.
Yeah. I would not have taken the charge, but I mean, if you can replay that play 100 times, he's gonna make that shot 1 out of 100 times. The unfortunate part is for UCLA, that was the one time they made it. That is a shot that I'm gonna say this: if you run that play 1,000 times, he'll make it 1 out of 1,000. I mean,
I'm seeing Dame Dollar hitting that every game, man.
He ain't making that. He made a 45-foot bank shot with a guy in his face. That's one of the
things. That's Dame Dollar walking off, ending the game. As playoff beat.
Suggs is gonna probably be the number 1 pick. He's a heck of a player. He's gonna be playing against Dame Dollar next year, but he ain't quite that yet. So I'm gonna say 1 out of 1,000 times. If you run that play 1,000 times, he makes it once.
Right.
He makes it once, but he made it. But the great thing for the Gonzaga, he made it that one time. He made it.
Right. Now about Baylor and Houston, Coach. I mean, obviously, I thought UCLA would win that game. Mm-hmm. They didn't surprise me. I felt like it was a hard-fought game.
You thought Baylor was going to win it, not UCLA. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying UCLA was going to beat Gonzaga. Remember?
Oh, you thought they were going to upset them? Oh, yeah.
Remember, I keep going.
Yeah, exactly. I
keep going against Gonzaga.
Yeah, you keep going against Gonzaga. That's right.
Yeah, and then on the Baylor side, I had no doubt. Seeing those 3 guards, being told, obviously, from Chuck long time ago, it's about guard play. And seeing, to me, those are the best guards together, Coach. I ain't saying individually. But together, by far, those are the best guards that entered this tournament. Mm-hmm. So, to me, they were a favorite because of that. So, talk about Baylor and Houston game.
As a collective group, I will have to agree with you 100%. Baylor has the best assortment of guard play in this tournament, and obviously probably in the country. This is why they're still standing tall to play for a national championship tonight. And that was, the Baylor-Houston game was a phenomenal game as well. And I have a lot of respect for Houston and Kelvin Sampson and his ball club. But like you said, the guard play was just off the chain for Baylor. It was just, you couldn't stop those guys. It was just
right.
They were just faster, quicker. And they got all the 50-50 balls they got to.
Yeah.
They made the plays they need to make.
Defense was great.
Defensively was great. They were faster. They showed why they are the best assortment of guards that was in this tournament and probably in the country. Because Houston's a very, very good basketball team. Obviously got to the Final Four. They're a very good basketball team.
Man, they made them look like they ain't belong.
They beat him.
D. Mitchell out there, he reminds me of a football player out there, Coach. Like
Texas is a football state. So they like football out there.
He's so Coach. He gritty. He in they jersey, Coach. Mm-hmm. Defensively, then offensively, he ain't afraid. He get down there with the bigs. Mm-hmm. And then he made the plays that really get them going, even offensively. Mm-hmm. And they saw they had Butler hot early on, so they kept finding it.
Yeah,
Everybody was trying to rotate that thing to him.
Yep.
Right.
No, it was an amazing showing by those guards. I mean, but Baylor's a really good basketball team. I mean, once they're well coached. I mean, take my hat to Coach Drew. He does a heck of a job. I mean, you got to understand. If you talk about like some of the most amazing stories in college basketball, it's Baylor. Because you got to understand, 20 years ago, Baylor went through one of the biggest scams. I mean, remember the kid got killed?
Got killed.
They went through one of the biggest scandals
that
in
was
college
crazy.
basketball history, and their program was going to shut down. When Coach Drew took the program over, like they didn't have scholarships, they were on probation, they couldn't play in the tournament. 20 years later, they're playing for a national championship. So if you go back and look at,
and I know you going to Drew with that, but I actually give that credit to Arthur Browse, man, because that whole program turned around with all the sports once they got good in football.
Yeah.
Like that thing just flipped.
Yeah.
Well, but then they had to overcome a thing with football, right? When the sex
after that,
so it's like another black eye. He gave it mouth to mouth resuscitation, but still they got hit in the stomach with another gut shot. You know,
Yep. So you got to take your hat to guys that turn programs around like that.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead. Hey, Coach, what about you mentioned about Suggs potentially? You say number 1 to number 3 pick, and then we talk about Mitchell, man. What's the game within the game, man? What you think about that battle?
I say it's going to be a good. I can't wait to get to my TV set because it's going to be a heavyweight fight. I mean, it's going to be a heavyweight fight. Those are two dynamic players, and I mean, I don't. It's hard to say what's going to happen. It's hard to say who's going to get the best of who, but it's just two heavyweights going at it. And I think whoever wins that matchup is going to help their team win the game. And it's too hard to say who's going to win the match, but whoever can win that matchup will help their team win the game.
Yeah, Coach, I like Baylor's matchup when it comes to that guard play. I like D. Mitchell matched up with Suggs because he can expend a ton of energy, Coach, defensively, and Baylor's not looking so much to him for scoring. I mean, he's on averaging 10 games, so you're not missing a whole lot from him. But Jalen, on the other end, they're depending on them buckets.
But the thing about it is that this is the point we haven't really touched on. It's not so much that matchup, is that they can throw numbers at Suggs to my Baylor. They can throw. They got more than one guy that can go guard him.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be one guy. I mean, it's not going to be just that matchup all night. I mean, because he wears down, boom, they're going to put a fresh body on him. So Suggs, I mean, the thing he's going to have to get his mind wrapped around is going to be 40 minutes of like intense pressure because they can send more than one guy at him. It's going to be 2 or 3 guys that's going to be guarding him. So it's just going to be interesting. But it's 2 of the better players in the country. I mean, obviously Suggs. I think as a freshman, I mean, if he can find a way to win this game and play well, he's going to put himself in as one of the better guards in the history of this game. I mean, to do what he's done as a freshman. I mean, this is in the lights of what Isaiah Thomas did as a freshman. He played for Indiana.
Good point. Hey, speaking of matchup, what's your matchup as far as Timmy down in the bottom? Who can handle him? I know Baylor got some bodies, but who can neutralize him?
Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah.
Who can neutralize him is what's the center name for
Vital?
No,
number 1.
No.
23.
No, the guy that starts for the 76ers. What's his name?
There you go, Joel Embiid.
Yeah, Embiid. They're gonna need one of those type of guys to stop him. Embiid. There you go. Mike. He is a beast. He is a beast. I think that's a matchup that Gonzaga is going to win. I mean, I really do. I think with the guard play matchup with Suggs, as good as he is, I think Baylor can find a way to neutralize him because they're going to throw waves of guys at him, and they're going to try to do that with numbers in terms of just more than 1 or 2, maybe 3 guys throwing at him. But when it comes to the Timmy, I don't think there's any hope for them when it comes to them for Baylor. I really don't.
I think the only hope is the hope that he gets in foul trouble.
That's the best.
Because right now, that's the one thing about Gonzaga. They don't have a lot of depth, man. They only play like 7 guys.
They only play 7 guys. Yep.
That's all they play, 7.
But if you get any of them in foul trouble, you're in good
shape. And that's the thing right there where
Baylor's much deeper. Baylor's much deeper. They get in foul trouble. That's the problem. I mean, actually, in the UCLA game, I mean, was later in the game. Timmy got like his
He had 4 fouls. Yeah, he had 4 fouls. I mean, he made a big play as far as taking that charge. When Klew talking about charge on a shot, well, he took a charge that on that. I mean, to change the game.
Yep.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was close. It was. He had his ground. He did good. I don't think.
Your boys got cheated though. UCLA got cheated, man.
There it is. There it is.
What?
I wasn't gonna say it. I let
You
somebody
think it was a foul?
Go back to the play with it was a huge play when Suggs went up and blocked a kid.
Oh, the block. Yeah, the block.
But listen, the question of did he foul him? Maybe not. There was still a little question that he foul him. But go back and watch that play and look what Suggs did. The ball was like going out of bounds. He went out of bounds, came back in and got the ball. You can't do that.
Wow.
Go back and look.
Yeah.
He went out of bounds. He went out of bounds and came back in and got the ball. When he blocked the shot, the ball was like running to the side. His momentum took him out of bounds, and he came back in and got the ball and passed it. You can't do that.
You can't go out of bounds and touch it?
He did. He went out of bounds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you go back and look, the rest missed that one.
Oh,
the rest were too busy missing the foul call that they missed him out of bounds too. It was all the same play.
Wow. They robbed us. They robbed us. Then I'm glad you bailed me out.
You gave Klew some ammo, huh? You gave him.
It was a huge play because they scored on that play. It was a huge play.
Yeah, that was a great pass to Timmy.
Yep, to Timmy. Yep, he scored on the play. So that was a huge play, boy. Late in the game. Momentum changer.
So what's your prediction on the game? Who you got, Coach?
God dang. History can be made tonight. Well, not history. It's been done before, but it's only been done once before in '76, Indiana. Can they go undefeated? Well, let me say this: if Gonzaga can win the game, two things will happen. Two things. Obviously, they go down as one of the best teams ever to play college basketball, being undefeated, win a national championship. But Suggs, we talked about that Suggs thing. He can go down in the lights like what Isaiah Thomas did as a freshman in the Indiana team when he won a national championship as a freshman. So there's a lot at stake for Gonzaga in terms of like history type things that can go on. But it's a tough one, Mike. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going with Baylor. I'm going to keep the rotation going, Coach.
I would think Gonzaga would be favored, but Baylor is just deeper. And like Klew said, if they can get Gonzaga in foul trouble, they're going to have some problems. Foul trouble can be a real.
That's what I'm saying. That
foul trouble can really hurt Gonzaga. They're not real deep. If you can get to Gonzaga's bench, you got them.
Yeah.
But no one's done it to this year. I mean, they 33-0, whatever the record is. They haven't done it yet. No one's done it yet. But if you can.
Well said.
One of our listeners, Jeff thinks that, Gonzaga, it's going to boil down to Gonzaga being able to recover from a really tough, matchup, overtime game. And right here, it's what is that? The problem with Gonzaga right now is the team that plays the more emotional, hard-fought Final Four game usually loses the Natty.
Right.
Can they recover in time?
I think they can. I think it's going to come more to the strategic part to get them in foul trouble.
Right.
Get them in foul trouble because
that's the thing.
I think if Baylor can find a way to get them in foul trouble, it throws their rhythm off and their benches are very deep. Like if you get past number 7, well, they never do. So I don't know what they have past 7. They never get past 7. But if you get past those first 2 guys that actually get those guys some spare minutes off the bench, I don't think they have much.
I don't know, like what I was saying earlier, I was like Zags all the way. Then when I saw him play UCLA, I was like, man. And then I saw Baylor, the way they beat down Houston. I was like, Baylor got so much better athletes than UCLA, that, man, because, wow. I mean, UCLA, like you said, it was matching up with them because I thought UCLA was going to try to play more of a zone, that they couldn't match up. But athletically and cultural, I mean, they matched up very well with them,
Yeah.
But Baylor just athletes, man, the way they just demolished Houston, I'm like, even though Houston's not a great shooting team,
right?
Just the athletes and the discipline and the defense. Surprisingly, the defense that Baylor brought to the table, man, that was awesome. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence now. I may have to jump ship and go with Klew. Go with Baylor.
Yeah.
Come on, the water warm.
It's too hard to pick, but I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Yeah,
that's most important. So, Hubert Davis, baby, Hubert Davis being named UNC head basketball coach today at UNC. A lot of people said that's what snatched him out of the booth. He was promised that golden whistle at a perennial powerhouse. And Coach, so what's your thoughts with Hubert Davis getting being tabbed as the next head basketball coach of the University of North Carolina.
I think it's amazing. It just shows you where we've come as a game, as our game is growing. You know, the African American coach at North Carolina. I mean, I think 30, 40 years ago that was unheard of, unforeseen. No one could ever see that. And you know, for Hubert Davis to get this opportunity, you know, it's amazing. I'm happy for him. I mean, I know Hubert actually texted him. He hasn't texted me back, but I texted him saying congratulations. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him. I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, it's one of the best college basketball jobs in the country. And I think he will do a good job of recruiting those type of athletes that you have to keep Carolina on top. I know you don't like hearing that because you got the little brothers down the street. You know, don't like that,
who the little brother, coach? Tell him, name me.
The Blue Devils.
North Carolina State. North Carolina State.
No, North Carolina State are the little sisters. I'm going to give you a brother.
NC State, MB. Central.
Hey, I heard Lavelle Moten's name for that job. That would have been amazing. He could have got the job. Lavelle Moten was the head coach at North Carolina State.
Well, let me throw a lot of hate.
Yeah, we talked about all that last time. You know.
Yeah, let me throw a lot of hate at this. I don't think it moves the needle at all. I think right now they need a splash of excitement, and I don't think he's the guy that's going.
You don't think Hubert Davis moves the needle?
Yeah, with the excitement factor. I don't think Hubert Davis standing in your living room does the same as Roy Williams. Sorry.
I think Roy Williams brought Hubert Davis back to get him ready for this moment.
Right.
The moment when he stood in front of that podium today, he was brought back over the last 6 years to get ready for this moment. That's why he was brought back, to be groomed for this job.
Cause this is a different breed. You sitting in living rooms, MB had to sit in living rooms. You got to have some kind of star power, man. In some shape, form, or fashion, these kids want to be able to Google you. They want to be able to know that you that dude. And I'm not saying
how much more star power he need? Played 12 years in the NBA.
No.
Every kid he sits in front of is gonna wish he can have the career he had in the NBA. He played 12 years in the league.
Absolutely, but he ain't moving the needle, man. Ain't nobody excited about it.
Coach,
excited about that, man.
I don't know, Klew. I understand what you're saying, but the fight when he go in that living room with that North Carolina logo on his thing, that's and
you don't got to be excited, Klew.
You at that point, like you ain't gotta have moved. I mean, just that alone, what they bring to the table is gonna help him out. You know, at least these first 2 years, and then see what he does. You know. So that logo is going to mean a lot, you know, in that regard.
I think it do. I think
that's coming from a Blue Devil.
Yeah, and they ain't beating us in recruiting, man. That tell you that already. We beating Roy already, okay. And then now you take 3 steps back with Hubert. Y'all in trouble, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's really, hey, Klew, you keep saying y'all. Me and Mike are Hurricanes, so it's not us.
Oh no, man. The way y'all talking, y'all in powder blue. The way y'all talking.
Y'all straight. We green and orange, but we ain't powder blue. I'm just giving you what I think's gonna happen. Carolina, we got our own battles to fight down there in Hurricane. Exactly. We got to get our own stuff together.
Because Jake gonna let me know. Shoot, we dealing with Porter.
Man, y'all just lost y'all best player.
We lost more than that too.
Three.
We lost. Yeah, we dealing with
best player gone.
Like Chris Likes. Yeah, he wouldn't
have correct.
So we got some Porter problems down there. You know,
yeah. Miami got some portal issues too, but they lost Timberlake, who was also a really good player, and they lost another kid that went to Old. I mean, they got some issues too, Klew. But with that being said, I do think Hubert Davis will do a good job for North Carolina. I really do.
I just think short term, like you don't have to move the needle with him to the ground, because like you said, with his resume, he's been on the bench for 9 years. He was in broadcasting booth. He's 12 years NBA player. So at least the first year, I mean, he goes in with that North Carolina logo. It's going to mean a lot.
Yeah,
you know.
Nothing,
after that, he's going to have to prove himself. You know.
I'm fighting y'all on that. Immediately, Juwan Howard moved the needle, man. He moved the needle. He came up with that 5-star power.
Okay, but wait a second.
What is you becoming in your way?
Wait a second. Time out. You talk about the 5-star power, okay? So you got to give Juwan, you got to give Hubert a chance. What I mean by this, Hubert Davis won. He as a player at Carolina, he won national championship.
Right.
We just talked
about. Who knew? That's what I'm saying. We still, the kids today even know about the Fab Five.
But the Fab Five was a movement. That was a movement. That was a movement. But the thing you got to give Juwan Howard credit for more than anything, this is what we're gonna have to have this conversation next year when it comes to Hubert. Juwan Howard's a heck of a coach. I mean, that team is well coached. Now we have to give Juwan. I mean,
but immediately his recruiting changed. They got big time guys immediately when he got in. We gonna watch and see, because we can't say they getting 5 stars. We gotta say, are they beating Duke and Kentucky for 5 stars? That's how we gotta rate him.
I will make a bet. This is the bet I'm gonna make you. All right, we have a lunch bet. The bet is that the Carolina will not suffer one bit in recruiting. They will still continue to get the best players in the country, the 5-star recruits. The only thing
Coach, I agree, but that's not what I'm saying. I just told you what the parameter is.
No, but hey, hold on, Klew, but listen, even with Roy there, they never competed like that with Duke or
they did early on. We lost.
No, not like that. I mean, no, not like that. I mean, Duke right now, they just got their 3rd 5-star player. Even before Roy even made a decision, they just made an announcement. This dude, so no, they king of the one and dones, man. You know.
But yeah, the thing that the one that's going to be an issue is going to be, can he coach? Nothing's going to suffer in recruiting. The culture of the program is going to go on. The history. I mean, they kept it in family, so he's going to hire North Carolina guys.
Who coming back from his years? Who he played with, Coach? Who was there with Hubert?
Who played with? I lost you. Say again.
Who did Hubert play with? So
he played. Who did he play in the NBA?
No. Who did he play with at North Carolina? What team was that?
He won a '93 national championship.
So that's after. Well, Rashid's after him.
No, Rashid's younger than him. It would have been
right. That's what I'm saying.
I was on that team. I mean, I was in school.
I'm trying to see.
No, I can tell you, it was like what's the guy?
Told you he was a UNC guy, man. He already know who the people.
Yeah, but they had a great team. I can't remember who was on that team, but they won the national championship in '93.
Well, Double A asked the question you answered. Can he coach?
Well, that's going to be the only question.
That's going to be the question right there, too.
And so that's what I said. Comparing him to Juwan Howard is not fair just yet, because Juwan Howard actually proved through this whole experience, this whole experiment, that he can really coach. And he can recruit. He got some good ones.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You got to
give Hubert a chance to.
Klew, let me ask you a question. Only thing from a publicity standpoint, right? Who would have moved the needle other than like maybe Kenny Smith, just because Kenny Smith on TNT?
Absolutely.
But Kenny Smith never coached.
Right, but he never coached, so that's the only from a publicity standpoint.
He's a
right.
15-year NBA coach.
There y'all go with that. He ain't coached again, man.
No, I'm saying from a moving needle though.
Hey, that's why they blowing it with Dion right now, because he ain't coached. How that's working?
You know how I told you. You know how I told you about. They can. I mean, if they want you, they'll make a way and they'll build around you. I'm just saying, as far as moving the needle, what you're talking about, that's how you're measuring it. The only hire they could have had that would move the needle based on the list of candidates we talked about was Kenny Smith. That was the only one.
Absolutely, and that's where I'm going to, because if you hear me even talking about this transfer portal, there we go again. In your first year, Hubert could end up winning the Natty with a group of transfers that came over just because he was named the guy. But he's not that name that's going to attract that kind of.
But Klew, look at now, the name you was promoting wouldn't move the needle at all.
Oh, he would though. His secret weapon, I keep saying.
Please. We didn't even know the dude.
His secret weapon is his brother, man. I keep trying to tell y'all, Kenny Smith.
No, I ain't know that wasn't your choice. Your choice was the guy.
No. I told you why. No, but I told you why that was my choice. Just because what I watched them do in the past.
Because he earned it, right? Because he was on the bench.
It had nothing to do with this. So you conflate two situations. When I said Steve Robinson should have got the job, it's because they gave it to Guthrie after Dean Smith. It had everything to do with that. That's it.
Okay, I thought that was your first choice.
we changed the conversation and was talking about who could move the needle, who could bring that star power, who could bring kids in right away. Then my pick immediately changed, even in that conversation.
So if you're the athletic director right now, who would you hire? With everything?
I would work with Kenneth Smith without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to win, man. I ain't trying to give participation trophies, and that's what it would have been again at the Steve. A participation.
The one thing I will one thing I will show you, Kid Lou, when this COVID lets up and the NCAA allows people to go back in the kids' homes in their living rooms, and Hubert Davis walks in with that powder blue, he's gonna walk out with a couple 5 stars.
Oh man, they do that anyway though. That ain't. But who are they gonna take them from? Is the question.
Who they normally take them from? I mean, who they normally take them from?
We were fighting them. I don't think we got to fight no more.
I don't think anything's going to change. I think the same fights are going to keep happening between Duke, Carolina, Kansas. All the blue bloods are going to be fighting. Nothing's going to change in North Carolina. Like always, they will get their fair share of the elite level talent. The only question with Hubert Davis is going to be, and we can't answer this, we got to revisit this maybe a year from now, is how good of a coach.
That's the thing. If he can win, that's going to help him out so much. But if he lose, that's what I'm saying. Short term, that powder blue on his chest will help him out for 1 year. But after that, man, he's got to prove that he can win. You know,
Double A was going with Bill Self, and also Double A put out there, coach. It was J.R. Reed he was playing with.
J.R. Reed wasn't going to get that job.
No. I'm saying
no. He's talking about who he played with.
Yeah. J.R. Smith, bad boy. Yeah, I mean, they won it in '93. They won it.
Hey, Cole, all he had to do was throw it inside. You know it. Hey, all 5 was gonna go guard JR.
It's okay. Hey, you can't take nothing away from Hubert, man. He stands.
Oh no, he was a shooter. He was a shooter.
J.R. Smith was as good as J.R. Smith was. Hubert had a better pro career than J.R. Smith.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing about Hubert that's unique, man. He was a really solid pro. He played in the league, and look, I give Hubert a lot of credit. We came up together with the high school around the same time. Actually, it was the same year. We came out the same year from the same area. And he was not a heavily recruited guy. He wasn't even like a top guy, like in terms of the all Met, like the top guys in the area. He was one of the top ones, but not the top guys. And he went to North Carolina and he just did his thing. So you got to give a lot of respect to that guy.
Well, I got to give a lot of credit to North Carolina for fighting through all them weeds to get to that rolls right there, man.
Yeah.
Being able to do that because you saying he wasn't the top 5-star guy. You know, I understand what you're saying.
Hubert, back in these days, if Hubert would have been like a 3-star guy in our day of 5-4, he was like a 3-star guy. But his uncle was a great player at North Carolina. His uncle, last name Davis, was a great player at North Carolina. And yeah, he wasn't even. I bet Hubert Davis was like a 3-star guy.
Wow.
Hey, so we talking a little transition a little bit to that NBA. Cole, I was banging on Steve Kerr. MB heard me. I was beefing with him, and then they got mopped up by the Toronto Raptors by 53. Coach, now
50 point, 53,
53. Now.
53, yeah.
Steph Curry, I text a friend of mine who was a Golden State Warrior once they got loaded. You know how they do me out west in LA. We was struggling big time during them days. And he was throwing right hooks, left jabs, and knockout blows, and I had to take them during that time. And I texted him, Coach, immediately after that 53, and I said, really? 53? His response to me was, Steph and Draymond didn't play in the game. Didn't play. I said, well, shoot. Steph and Dre don't play for Cleveland or Detroit either.
Right.
Hey, and I can't think of right now who the worst team in the West, but I put their name in there too. And they ain't getting beat by 53. That was my point. They ain't got Steph and Dre either. In the worst 2 teams in the NBA, on the worst one in the West, worst one on the East, and they ain't losing by 53, man. MB, I don't know what it is with me, MB, but I'm trying to tell y'all it's a problem in Golden State, man. and it named Steve Kerr. I'm tired of y'all round here acting like y'all gonna ignore it.
Well, you gotta give him a chance. Look, you make a great point. You should be losing by 53 points.
Right.
Not playing. I mean, you should be able to take a college team. You should be. Hey, Hubert Davis should be able to take his North Carolina team and
right
by 53 points.
Right.
And keep it to 30.
So I get your point. However, we all know how the NBA is. It's such a temp. These guys don't want to play that night. The stars. I mean, the main guys ain't playing, and I mean, it's just you play 82 games a year.
Right.
You always have a chance. There's always a potential of a major blowout every year in the NBA, just based on.
No, but we call blowouts 25. They doubled that.
That was a little different.
Don't try
to different kind of blowout
out of that.
Yeah, I mean, even Steve Kerr said it was embarrassing, you know. So I mean, but so your point is what, Klew? The man need to get fired? You trying to get rid of him?
No, I'm not there yet, but he needs to be on notice. Like you follow that up next year with a mediocre season, and when I say mediocre, you back full mass, right? And you finish under 5, you know, top. You don't finish top 5 in the West. It's time to start questioning, because y'all don't realize that, but they are back to back and losing seasons, man. And people just keep throwing out there, they ain't got Steph, they ain't got this one. How long we gonna keep saying that? Because guess who?
But the one thing
we pulled up their roster, coach. They ain't got scrubs in that locker room. I don't care what y'all say. Them ain't no scrubs.
Right, but the one thing
they roster is top 5 in the West right now, and they ain't it. They're not there.
The one thing you can't argue, when Steve Kerr does have his dudes, when he is at full force and full force, he wins championships. I mean, you can't argue that he wins when he has all those dudes out there.
Well, he didn't win it every time.
And playing.
He didn't win it every time.
He's competing for it. I mean,
they won 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
they won it 3 out of 5, coach. But so what does that mean?
He competed for 5 of them.
Okay. Well, if you saying that, he does need to be fired so he can find another team that's already got all their firepower. That's what you telling me.
What I'm saying is no. What I'm saying is you take that kind of firepower away from any coach and say, all right, you're gonna lose Draymond Green, you're gonna lose Steph Curry, you're gonna lose
Coach, that's not what's happening though. We down Clay, coach. We down Clay. That's it. Why y'all keep acting like everybody hurt? We down one guy.
But we were talking about the 50-point blowout. That's what we talked, the 50-point blowout. And all three, neither one of those guys we just named played in that 50-point blowout.
Right, correct.
I mean, I don't maybe
correct.
Right,
but
right.
Guess who else they don't play for? Nobody else. And ain't nobody else getting beat by 53. That's exactly my point. Yeah. They don't play for nobody else either, coach.
I mean, for me, so we're talking about, like, because last talk we had about Steve Kerr as he's elite coach, and I think the jury's still out. I mean, we know that he knows what to do with talent, and he helped them win the championship, put in the system and all that stuff. But now, just like all the coaches, like I think about Eric Spoelstra, like how when LeBron left, they didn't make the playoff that next year, right? But then he proved himself to be an excellent coach without LeBron, you know, because you got overshadowed. And so now he's considered one of the best coaches. I think Steve Kerr got to go through that process as well. That's what he's going through. When Durant left, and then that year, the year last year, I mean, he had everybody was hurt. Now this year he's got, Steve. I mean, obviously Steph Curry. He got Draymond. They missed some games this year, but not enough for it to be like placed 10th right now in the Western Conference. You know,
so he's got to prove roster, and you know it.
Well, I don't. For me, I don't like their roster. They got the highest salary, tax stuff, but I don't like their roster. I don't like. I told you that last time. I'm not a big fan of Wiggins. You know, for me, Draymond, like I told you before the season, I know we joke around here, but I told you he was past his prime. They gave him $100 million. They gave dudes max contracts. I don't like their roster, even though on paper they got a lot of money. They do have some talent. Their talent right now is not. It's much better than what their record is saying. You know, I agree with that. But to me, they're not top 5.
That's why I'm at. That's where I'm at with that roster. Whether you like it or dislike it,
no,
obviously
it shouldn't. I agree with it. Shouldn't be 10th place in Western Conference. I know,
that's
even though they've been. And I agree with that, but I don't like. For me, I don't think they top 5 talent. I think they got a lot of overhype for me. But you're right.
Start naming a bit. I can only think of 3 that's better than them.
Who right now? Okay, the Clippers, the Lakers. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Clippers, the Lakers, right? Let me see. Clippers, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Suns, right?
No, not a better roster. They're a better team.
They're better, man. Shoot, for me, who else?
They got a better team, MB. You looking at it from a team perspective. Like which is
I'm telling you, look for me,
player for player, they are not better than them.
For me, other than Steph Curry, right? I'm not a big
Chris Paul gone.
Okay, then you got Booker.
And
then you got the center.
Wait, Booker and Draymond gone. Okay, so now keep going.
Who? Booker, Draymond, Booker.
No, I'm not saying Booker. No, I'm still not saying like you're
in the center. The center.
Saying, there go 2 superstars.
The center from the Suns is better than anybody else on their roster.
No, Looney is the same dude he is.
Who?
Looney is the same dude he is, MB.
No way.
He's the same dude he is.
No way.
Okay. No way. All I'm saying is right now you see how you running out. The same way we could argue those players, every player, right? And I'm just saying they even are deeper. They can go even a deeper player roster than what we talking about. And that's my whole point is they're a top 5 team in the West. They are. And you at 10th place getting beat by 53 points. Man, that ain't that. Listen, the coach got to eat that. And we keep giving him a pass and thinking they just won the championship last year. That's how everybody talks about them. And I'm just trying to let everybody know that was 2017, man. You know, when KD was doing his thug dizzle, you know, like, listen, that's over with, man. And we
listen. Hold on. Let's go. The Jazz. Hold on, I got the roster right. The Jazz got better players than them.
They don't.
What?
They don't.
They got Rudy Gobert. They got Mitchell, and they got what's my point guard from Memphis, who made an All-Star game this year.
Come off the bench. He's a 6th man.
Who? Steve Curry? He's an All-Star player.
I said he comes off the bench.
Who come off the bench?
The one from Memphis.
No, he just made the All-Star this year. His first time making All-Star.
Yeah, the coaches picked him. Yeah. I'm not tripping, MB. I'm just saying they got 4 of the same talent.
I agree with you that Golden State talent-wise is not 10th place.
That still puts them 5. Even if you're putting them in front of them, that's fine. They 5 now. I said top 5. That's it. That's all I said. So you're right. They still at 5.
I don't like their roster.
I'm not saying it's a good roster or a great roster. I'm just saying it's better than what we're giving it credit for. And somehow we keep giving them a pass. Like as long as they don't have all their players. Ain't nobody.
Pelican roster is better than I don't like Lakers.
Hey, I'm getting plenty of hate right now. My Lakers ain't got our 2 best players.
Bro, the Pelicans got better talent than them. On the Pelicans, I'll take the Pelicans.
Oh gosh, there you go. Okay,
I'll take Zion. I'll take Ingram. I'll take man. They better than
that. You just like them better. That's fine. That's fine. But they're not more talented, player for player. Sorry. This a really good team. They're just not playing well, and coach ain't gonna bash them till they have all their players and a 4th or 5th.
No, I agree. They're underachieving. I told you that from the beginning. I just for me, I'm not a big fan of the roster, and I told you why. But I agree that they're underachieving. But like I said, you went through some coach like Rick Carlisle. He won with the Mavs. He went through Mr. Playoff and back and forth, up and down. He still had dirt in the Vicks. He still had some guys that Dirk was still in his prime out there, won the championship. So I'm just saying right now, Steve.
It was only Dirk. It was Michael Finley sprinkled in a little bit. When they got that team together with Jason Kidd, that was a really good team, but they still roster-wise went better than nobody. We shouldn't have lost to them. My Lakers shouldn't have lost to them, but we did.
I'm saying that when you look at the coaches, they like right now, when you take away the talent or you take away they got to prove themselves, and he got to prove himself. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
That's my point.
That's been my point. I agree with you. I just when you talking about they got top five, I'm like, yeah, they got some talent, but they underachieving. But
you struggling to put them at 6, though.
I just told you, I'm not struggling. You just don't agree with me. I'm not struggling. I'm good by what
you named 4 teams that puts them at 5.
Well, I named the Jazz, the Suns, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Lakers, right? That I think all those five. I think the Pelicans over there.
Oh, stop, MB. Okay. You just gonna make. Hey, I even go minus the Pelicans. I'll go minus the Pelicans and put them at 6. Okay, I put them at 6.
Okay, Klew, I got you, man. Klew, we on the same page. I got you. We on the same page. I got you. I definitely agree with what you're saying, Klew. I definitely agree with you.
Well, Coach, we sure appreciate you, man. So you going with Gonzaga, I'm sure, tonight. You went ahead and did you go ahead and clarify that, or you still struggling? But hey, I'm going with D. Mitchell, man. I'm going with D. Mitchell, the heart and soul. I'm going with the heart and soul of them Baylor Bears, baby.
I like him as well. I can't. It's a hard one, man. It's a hard one.
I know it's gonna be a great game, man. You know. Yep. I'm going with the athletes, man. I think, like I told you, I'm jumping shit with you, Klew. It's tough.
All right. Well, we sure appreciate you again, Coach, for hollering at us, man. Keeping a straight round here, trying to tell us what's real in the world of college football, even though I'm messing it up.
Yes, okay. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right.
Yeah. Hey, and here you go. And your little bet, that's the sorriest bet in the world. The fact that they gonna keep getting 5 stars. I said that it's the counter 5 stars that I'm telling you they ain't gonna.
We can't crush them just yet. We got to revisit in about 12 months. Give them a year. Let's give them a year.
Who's that? David.
Davis. Yes.
Yeah. We got to at least give him a chance. You know.
Give him a chance.
If he can go,
especially
on TV. But now I don't like it no more.
Okay. You don't like where's the wrong kind of blue, but he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it is. It's that powder blue.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And we owe them. They skipped us this year. They kept beating up on us.
Well, you gonna get a chance next year. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't hiding from y'all.
Yeah. But we loaded. We gonna be loaded and ready because our 5 stars. They ain't one and done this year. MB. Okay. We bringing in that one. But I say our 5 stars ain't going nowhere. We don't have
5 stars at Duke. There you go, Klew. Why you go that route? You should have just said goodbye. Your 5. You got 3 5 stars coming in class, and 2 of them are projected lottery picks.
No, I'm saying like the group from this year will be back. Ain't nobody going anywhere. I'm not disagreeing that next year we're pulling them in, but I'm talking about this group will actually be able to help because our problem is we was too young. We got too young too fast, man.
Y'all still you do the freshmen this year, Klew?
Yeah, the freshmen and the sophomores now they
gonna be leaving. Klew, y'all
going nowhere, man.
No, they already declared 2 freshmen already left.
Man.
The one left in the middle of the season, then the one DJ just came and said he leaving.
Jalen, I ain't never count him, man.
Yeah, well, Jaden left in the season, and then DJ just announced he leaving. And then what is DJ Stewart? Is that right? I don't know what's his name?
He need to go then. I ain't even watch us this year. We were so trash. I
can't. But then that's why I sent you that thing because then your other top player, your sophomore, he's thinking about leaving too.
Oh no, MB. them last two you just named, they gonna come back. They just testing the waters. Coach, tell him about that. Talk him through the.
They didn't start with an agent.
Mike,
they didn't start with an agent. Hey, Luke.
Right. They're gonna be back because they're not good enough to test. You know, they'll be back.
Right. They testing the waters, man. My bad.
Mike, they're not good enough. Mike, they be back at me. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Coach, he had my heart beating hard around here, man. Now I gotta calm down. Yeah. All that foolery you talking about. One leaving, and I don't know. And the NBA crazy for still making him a lottery. Yeah, that was atrocious what he put out there this year. Nuts. Coach, the NBA is different to me. When he go lottery, that's why we as the Lakers keep winning, man. It's stuff like that when teams go get them people. That's why we keep dominating the NBA, man. The Lakers, the Celtics, it's the same teams year in and year out, Coach.
But you dominate the NBA because you got LeBron James. That's why you.
Oh, no. Listen, we had LeBron, we had Kobe, we had Shaq, we had Kareem, we had Magic, we had Wilt, we had Coach. When you want me to stop, man? I keep going until you say stop. But it's history with us.
Hey, Luke, so you said that guy DJ Stewart. You say he not going to sign with an agent?
He ain't going. I'm just saying, them last two you name ain't going nowhere. We'll be seeing them, man. We send it. Hey, they ain't all gonna declare then. We're gonna send a few more.
That's what I look. I was like, man, you got two guys because Coach K was like he had incredible freshman season, had so much more potential. He released a statement like, "Bye, Felicia."
Hey, MB, how we suck the way we did, and we got 3 in the NBA, man.
Right.
Stop that. Well, Cole, we appreciate you. Thanks for hollering.
Absolutely, guys. My pleasure.
For LB and K. Lou, man, sideline, the baseline, we'll holler at y'all.
Peace.
All right, guys. Peace.